live! What's up, everyone? Welcome. I think we're live, right? We're live, Billy. Okay, we're going to do some ear training again. We did this a few weeks ago. It's going to be a 30-minute ear training session. I've got some new concepts to talk about to help improve your ear. We've got a discount code right here for the ear training course, the Beato Ear Training. If you go to my website, you can find it, or go to beatoeartraining.com. 30% off, RB50. But I'm offering the new Beato book 4.0. By the way, for those of you that have bought previous versions, write to me. There's the pay what you want link for that. But 50% off the Beato book YouTube transcription, YouTube Instagram transcription bundle. I guess it's hard to say. I haven't offered the Beato book 4.0 with this, but this is it's 650 page PDF. Okay, so it's for example, so it's got all the improv. Those of you that follow me on Instagram, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, it's really guitar based. It's Rick Beato 1. Please follow me there because I put up new guitar content and new music content pretty much every single day. And there's a lot of transcriptions from there. A lot of the things that improvs I do are transcribed in that. And then a lot of my YouTube videos we've done transcriptions of, and they are in it. So the transcription bundle's like 250 pages or something like that. I can't remember, 150 pages. But that plus my book is about 650 pages. If you want to support the channel, that's how you can do it. Hate to get off and talk about all this stuff. But anyways, so there it is. Now, first thing I want to talk about with ear training, I thought about this concept. I've been thinking a lot since I've been created the ear training course about things that you can practice. Now, in the ear training course, it tracks your progress by the computer testing you, right? But there are things that you can do on your own, and there's a video part of my ear training course where I explain ways to practice on your own, where you're not being tested by the computer. These are things to improve your ear that I call predictive ear training. Okay, so one of the things that we do is fill in the note, whether it's a major or minor chord. If I play a perfect fifth, da. So I played C and G, and I sang the note E, da. Or if I think of this middle note to be a minor, so I go, da, da. Oh, I'm sorry, I did sus4. Da. So these are the different triads that I do, that I talk about doing, that filling in the middle note. Da, major, da, 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 or da, da, which would be the flat 2. But before we get to that, because that's a little tricky, we're just going to take a major scale and talk about the intervals in the major scale. So here I have a C major scale. Major scales have only major intervals and perfect intervals. What do I mean by that? Well, I would take a C major scale. C to D is a major second. C to E is a major third. C to F is a perfect fourth. C to G is a perfect fifth. C to A is a major sixth. C to B is a major seven. Then we have the perfect octave, C to C, okay? So those are your major and perfect intervals. So the major scale is a great thing to start with to practice. I try to find the note that fits in my range. C happens to be fine because I can pretty much go an octave below that and an octave above. So you want to find what your midpoint is for your voice. Right? So I can sing both those notes on each side of it up an octave. Some of you, if you're a female, it might be G, it might be A above that. If you have a really low bass voice, it may be down to A. I can sing a low A, but that's starting to get a little bit low in my range. You want to find the comfortable spot for that. So we're going to start with C major. We're going to practice the intervals. But what I like to do first is take a perfect fifth interval and practice those intervals within the fifth, okay? And then we're going to practice the intervals above the fifth, okay? So we're going to stick with the intervals below the fifth first, okay? So what you want to do is play the note D, and that's going to give you your major second. But you want to play it first, da, and sing the note, and then test yourself. Da, 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 da. I'm thinking of this Superman movie that Hans Zimmer did the film score of, that he kind of goes, he uses that major seventh interval like that. Okay, so I'm practicing from the C tonic, and I'm going through each note of the scale and just filling it in. Da, 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 da. I just sang them. Now I'm gonna play them as soon as I sing them. Da, 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 da. You don't have to be a great singer. I am not a great singer. I don't have a lot of control over my voice. I've never been a great singer, but I can hear the notes. I know what those notes are. So, as you get higher, I think that the lower intervals are easy to hear, you know, da, da, da. Those are easy. The major second and the major third, I think, are very easy. Da, 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 da. The perfect fourth, a lot of people, when I was learning ear training, use Here Comes the Bride. Da, 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 da. Right, da, 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 da. That would be a way that people those would be things that people would use to aid them in hearing these intervals. I don't really believe in that, because as songs change over the years, people don't even know. Well, they'll know Here Comes the Bride, but a lot of songs that I used when I was growing up to learn intervals, nobody even knows these songs anymore, right? So it's better to learn just the sound of those. Okay, so one way to practice the upper intervals here is to take this perfect fifth. You hear it and you go, and I'm going to think of this da, that G, right? Da, da. Those, to me, the sixth and the seventh are easy to hear and easy to practice when you play that fifth interval. So I go, I'm hearing that da, that G, right? And I go da. Then I go, da, da. Okay, so those upper intervals, a lot of people would say, da, 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 right? My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean. That major sixth interval is beyond the fifth, but if you hear it as either a step above the fifth or part of the four chord. Okay, so if I'm in the key of C major to F major, but this F major is in second inversion, so it's C, F, A. So I hear that top note, da, da, right? That's another way to think of it. Okay, so those are how you practice the major and perfect intervals. Well, there's also an easy way to practice the other intervals to give you the whole chromatic scale. If you take a major scale a half step above C major, D flat major, and you start it on C, it's really C Locrian. Okay? Starting on C, that gives you all the other notes of the scale, all the other chromatic notes. The minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, augmented fourth or diminished fifth at your tritone, the flat six, and the flat seven. So you're going to do the same thing that you did with the major scale, but you're going to play those notes from that Locrian scale. Locrian scale is just a major scale, but starting on the seventh, okay? So you're going to use C major, and then D flat major starting on C. Okay, and that will give you all the rest of the intervals to practice. Okay, so that's a great way of doing it. And you're going to do the same thing that I did. You're going to think of da da. I think da 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 da. So da 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 da. Right? I'm thinking of that scale. Da 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 da. You have the perfect fourth here. Then you have da 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 da. I think it's easier to do that. With that scale. It's easier to hear those intervals. The minor sixth, the minor seventh, the tritone. I think that that's a really great exercise, and I think it's a very simple concept because your ear can hear those two scales, but you start that second scale on the seventh. Okay, and get that sound in your ear, and it will complete all those other intervals. Okay. Okay, one more time. Let me talk about discount code for today's live stream. I've got a mosquito right here. Sorry. The Beato bundle, YouTube, Instagram transcription bundle, 50% off. If you're gonna get it, I've never offered the new Beato book 4.0, which came out a few weeks ago as part of my bundle. It's a 650-page PDF, and then the ear training, 50% off that, or 30% off that. RB50 is the discount code. Okay, now I want to talk about a couple of things. So I talk about these diatonic intervals would be this, and your chromatic intervals are all the intervals, but this major scale up a half step helps complete all the chromatic intervals. So you have minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, augmented fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, major sixth, minor seven, major seven, and then octave. Now, there's another exercise that I like to use, which I call the over-under exercise. Okay, this will help you practice intervals ascending and descending. Most people only practice ascending intervals. Okay, and so I would find this. I used to when I was a college professor, I did a remedial ear training course that I taught at night. And I still remember it. I'd had people that would flunk out of ear training, or that were flunking ear training at college, and they would come at 7 o'clock at night, and we'd do an hour-long remedial practice course so the people wouldn't fail out of the semester, right? And we would work on these things. And these are things that I used for the last 30 years to teach ear training. Okay, when I say over-under, if you take a note, a mid note, let's say the note C again, and I'm going to play the note a half step above and a half step below. That's half step above, half step below, and I'm going to play it as a cluster. Okay. Da, da. So I'm singing that minor second up, minor second down, with C as the midpoint. I'm going to do the next. I'm going to do the major second up. But I'm going to play it as a chord. What you want to do is practice these as chords first. Minor second, major second, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, augmented fourth, perfect fifth. That'd be minor sixth, minor seventh, major seventh, and then your octave. Okay, so I'm going up chromatically above C and down chromatically below C to grab all those notes. And what you do is, this is called predictive ear training. You have to predict what the notes are going to be. So I hear that, da, da, right, da, da, I'm singing B, and then you play it. Then I'm going to hear C again, da, so I'm going to sing D, and I think of this down a whole step. Did you guys follow this? So I'm going up and down those intervals. So you play the chord, da, 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 da. Then I play the next chord. This will be the minor thirds. Da, 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 da. Then I do the major third up and down. Da, 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 da. play them and practice them. Play them first so you can hear that, right? Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. I can't even hit that G now. Da, 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 da. Maybe C's not a good mid note for me. Da, da. Okay, so C is probably not a good note. Da, 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 da. You know, when I started the live stream, I could sing that low C, but some reason my voice, I think it's because it's getting dry, I can't hit those notes. Da, da. You can sing up the octave. Da, 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 da. That's better. So I had transposed down the octave. Da, da. And then if I'm going to, another interesting thing about this that I find fascinating about this over-under, this is really, really interesting. When you get to the minor third up and down, it's a diminished chord, okay? And when you get to the augmented chord, up a major third and down a major third, it's an augmented chord, right? But when you get to the sixths, they invert. So if I go up a sixth, a minor sixth, and I go down a minor sixth, it's an augmented chord. And when I go up a major sixth and down a major sixth, it's a diminished chord. That transposition of those two things is really interesting to me. I think that that they work out in this way, that the intervals transpose, which makes sense. That those intervals transpose, if I think of the notes, if I go C to E flat is a minor third, but if I go C down to E flat, right, it's a major sixth, okay? So intervals, thirds transpose. Going up to the same note, C to E flat is a minor third, C to E flat down is a major sixth, okay? If I go C to E, major third up, and I go C down to E, it's a minor sixth down. So those two intervals invert, okay? Depending on whether you are ascending or descending. That's why it's good to practice this over-under exercise, because it helps you. You notice on that augmented fourth or diminished fifth, it's the same note. It's the same note. C, F sharp, C, F sharp. That's the only one that's the same. Then you get to the F, you get to you get to that to the open fifths there. So that's a great way to practice as well, is to do this over-under exercise. Okay, so you got a few different things. Practice your intervals using the major scale, right? And you get all your major intervals and perfect intervals. And then if you take the major scale up a half step, but start on the seventh of it, it gives you the Locrian mode, but it also gives you all the other intervals. But that is only good for practicing ascending. Unless you're doing, unless you're going, or if you're going da, 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 and hearing those da, da, those intervals like that, da, 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 da. So I'm working those other intervals from that Locrian scale. Da, 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 minor sixth descending, da, da, minor seventh descending. So I think for most people the descending intervals are difficult, but if you're writing down a melody, if you're doing sight singing, writing down a melody, trying to transcribe a solo on the piano, on the guitar, whatever it is, you're obviously going to have lines that go up and down, right? If I play that melody, da, da, major sixth of, da, down a whole step, da, down a whole step, da, down a perfect fourth. Okay, so I'm doing those major sixths, down a major second, down a major second, down a perfect fourth. So that's how you get fast at these. So I could say C, A, G, F, C. Wasn't that a Christmas song? Da 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 da. What is that, Billy? Over those we go, laughing all the way. What's that?
Jingle Bells.
Jingle Bells. What? I don't know why I play Jingle Bells in the middle of June, but I play Jingle Bells. Okay, so anyways, that the idea is to get fast enough at these intervals when you hear them that you can play them. You don't have to be able to sing them really well. Okay, that you should be able to sing them, but a lot of people's voice just can't do the. As you can hear, my voice is getting hoarse right now because I need something to drink. A lot of people's voices may not be able to grab these things perfectly, right? These notes because of their range or whatever. But you need to be able to write them down or play them on your instrument. If it's the piano, if it's the guitar, if it's your saxophone, your trumpet, whatever it is, you should be able to hear a line and instantly mimic it. Okay? Know what intervals they are. Take a tune and think of the melody. Take the starting note and see if you can play the entire melody. I did a video a couple months ago. I took the theme to The Godfather, okay, and I talked about the intervals with that. I think I wrote it out on the staff. I can't remember. Do you remember that, Billy?
Do you remember? I wasn't here yet.
No. You were here. This is a few months ago.
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Okay.
No.
I did the theme to The Godfather. You probably don't remember because you don't know the theme to The Godfather. Have you ever seen The Godfather?
Yes.
Okay. So anyways, I love The Godfather, okay? I'm Sicilian. Anyways, but that theme is really chromatic. There's a couple different themes of The Godfather, but pick a movie that you like, that you know really well. Find a note, any note, and practice those intervals on your instrument and try to play it with no mistakes. That's ultimately where you get, because the whole idea here is to be able to play anything that you hear in your head on your instrument, or anything that you hear, right? If you're listening to a solo, you're trying to figure out a Jimmy Page solo or a Tosin Abasi solo, and you know what those intervals are, okay? That's how you learn these things. You have to really develop your ear and hear intervals. This is before you even hear chords. Now, you should be able to hear chords. I know that's an add 9 chord. I know that's a sus 4 chord. I know that's a Lydian triad. You know, I know the sounds of these chords, right? I know that that's a Lydian augmented chord or a major 7 sharp 5. Now, if I had perfect pitch, I could say it's F major over D flat or D flat major 7 sharp 5. You don't need to have perfect pitch, though. You can say that that's a major 7 sharp 5 chord. Okay, that's all that matters, is that you can recognize the sonority instantly. That's called a harmonic chord, right, where it's played all at once, versus a melodic intervals. Melodic intervals are played separately. Harmonic intervals are played together, right? This is a harmonic major third. That's a melodic major third. So that's what those terms mean. I go over all these things in my ear training course. I've got videos, and then it tests you on these things. And there's nothing better than just to practice that repetitive. So you do ear training a couple different ways. With my course, I have practice things like this in it, where I teach you things through video content, and then the computer takes over and it follows your progress. Okay, and then you move from module to module. There are hundreds of modules on it. It starts very simply. It gets really complex later on, kind of like my book does. Okay, discount code RB50, 50% off my Beato book bundle. It's the Beato book bundled with the Instagram, YouTube transcriptions. It's 650-page PDF. That's how I make a living for my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram at RickBeato1. Or become a member of the Beato Club. You know, these are ways you can support the channel. I don't have ads on my channel. I don't do videos for, I make videos that get demonetized all the time because I want to make videos on the things that I want to make videos on. You guys hear me talk about this all the time, but I'm going to say it again. But I never wanted my channel to be restrained the things that I want to talk about and teach be restrained by what I can play and not play. I don't want to make videos on esoteric things, because I used to do that at first. I was like, well, I can't use that song, so I'll just make a video on this and use the concept. No, it's better to teach things by using real examples of things that you guys know. I'm not going to teach you a song like, Comfortably Numb. I'm going to teach you Comfortably Numb or whatever. I'm going to do what makes this song great on it. I'm not going to teach you, certain things. If I'm doing a concept of how to mic a drum set, okay, that's a really specific kind of thing. When it comes to musical examples, you have to use examples of familiar songs or pieces. I'm not going to teach you how to write a Bach fugue by listening to me writing some modern fugue. I'm going to play a Bach fugue. Okay? So, anyways, Billy, questions?
There's some people asking, they didn't know the difference between a major third and a perfect fourth. They don't know what a perfect fourth is.
Okay, a perfect fourth. So each of these has to do with the number of half steps between notes. That's how intervals are named. So if you take 12 half steps, take a chromatic scale, C, D flat, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G flat, G, A flat, B, B flat, C. Okay? Each of these will have you could have, say, C sharp, whatever. They have enharmonics, D sharp. But this will be G sharp. This will be, I did this wrong, B flat, B. This will be A sharp. Okay, so these are the 12 chromatic notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? The note from C to D flat is a minor second. That's why you use a lowercase m. From C to D is a major second. C to E flat is a minor third. C to E is a major third. Okay, it's it's 1 half step, 2 half steps, 3 half steps, 4 half steps. These are the number of half steps. So basically you're counting half steps and you're counting letter names. This is how intervals work. This is all in my Beato book. I can't really, I can explain this stuff to you like this, but you really need to see it written out and see intervals explained. But these are how they work. A perfect fourth then is this. Perfect fourth would be from the note C to F. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 half steps is a perfect fourth. Okay, C to D flat is 1, C to D is 2, C to E flat is 3, C to E is 4, C to F is 5. What, Billy?
They're pointing out that you missed A.
Oh, sorry. A. There we go. See, that's what happens when I write things really fast like that. I missed A, but you know that A exists. So you basically, to name an interval, you have to count the letter names and then the number of half steps spanned. Number of letter names spanned, number of letter names. If I have the note C to E, right? So you have the note C, D, E, 3 letter names, which means it's going to be some type of a third. And then you have to know how many half steps it is. So C to D flat's 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps. 4 half steps is a major third. 3 half steps is a minor third, okay? And that would be the note E flat. But this is how you know that it's a third, is that it has 3 letter names spanned, okay? You know what spanned means. Do people know what spanned? If I think of the, anytime you have letters, you just have to know the notes C through C through B or A through G. You need to know those letters. If you know your alphabet A through G, you can do this. Okay, count the number of letters spanned. That tells you what type of interval it is. Then you have to count the half steps to know whether it's major, minor, or perfect. Anyways, but this is literally the first page of the Beato book. How to name intervals. Okay, that's literally what I start out with. And I explain it about all different types. Major, minor, perfect, augmented, and diminished intervals. Okay? Anyways, any other questions, Billy?
Some people ask them more historical things like why is there no semitone between E and F?
Oh, don't worry about that. Why is the sky blue? I didn't make up the scale, so, it's just the way it is. That doesn't mean, you can say, oh, that's E sharp is F, and B sharp is C. Those things do exist, right? They're enharmonic spellings of things like that. And they exist for a reason. F sharp major, F sharp, A sharp, C sharp can also be G flat major, G flat, B flat, D flat, okay? If I go to, I could explain this, which is B major, is C flat major, okay? C flat, E flat, G flat. But to the ear, if you had perfect pitch, you say, well, it's B major. B, D sharp, F sharp. Okay? So don't worry about things like that. The ear can only tell relative to the other notes around it unless you have perfect pitch. If you have perfect pitch, you can define and I played a chord like this. Let's say, okay, this would be a D flat 7 chord. D flat, F, A flat, C flat. Okay? If I heard that chord and I knew that was D flat, I'd say, oh, that's D flat 7. I would call that note C flat because I know the function of that chord. I know it's a dominant chord, and I know that note is a B, but it's really a C flat in context. So these are important things. The enharmonic spellings of things and spelling them correctly. That's part of music theory, but it's not that important for ear training. It's just important that you can recognize that that's a dominant 7th chord. And then the next level of that is to understand the theory behind it and why that would be a C flat in context as opposed to a B. Now, if I said, oh, this is C sharp dominant, well, then you have another enharmonic in here, whereas the third is E sharp, which is actually the note F. So you get this, you got C sharp, E sharp, G sharp, B. Okay, so what's interesting about D flat is that D flat 7 has C flat and C sharp 7, same notes, has E sharp in it. I don't know why I find that interesting, but I find it interesting. Okay, so that's it for today. Discount code RB50, 50% off the Beato book, Instagram, YouTube transcription bundle, 650-page PDF. 30% off the ear training course. This is how I would support my channel. You want to support my channel? I make free videos. I don't hold anything back. I don't put things behind a paywall or, I don't really, if you want to learn more, this is how you support the channel. It's like half of what a guitar lesson would cost, half the price to buy this today. And you can follow along, because ultimately that's what it is. I wrote my book originally as a college textbook because there were no textbooks that taught the things that I wanted to teach when I was a college professor. And then the book acts as the textbook for my channel. So that when you read a thing, if I'm talking about, spread triads, you go to the book and say, oh, we're spread triads. What is a spread triad? Boom, spread triads in my book. Oh, here's explaining spread triads. That's how you do it. Or what is a perfect fourth interval? Open up first chapter, look it up, explains it in great detail with examples. That's all for now. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. For those of you that have the old version of the Beato book and want to update, 4.0 is available now. So this new Beato book bundle is the 4.0 version, the new version that came out about a month ago. You can get it along with my YouTube, Instagram, PDF transcription bundle, 650 pages. RB50, you guys are the best. Thanks. See ya.